Happy New Year, everybody. It is officially 2023. That is so crazy to me. You're listening to my doula, Micha. And this podcast has been so enjoyable for me this past year. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do in this episode. I'm going to kind of look back on 2022, and that can be really interesting for all of us as we look back on the year. On the whole, if somebody were to say to me, hey, when you look back 2022, what are your thoughts? How do you feel? And if I was going to be honest, I would say it was a hard year. And I'll get into some of that, but there were also some really great highlights this past year. So that's what I'm going to do in this episode. I think it's going to be interesting. So hang in there with me. Don't think I'm just going to be reading off this bullet point list. I'm going to get a little bit deeper and more specific, and hopefully something that I am reflecting on about my year might encourage you to reflect a little bit more or prompt you in something to move forward in. So here we go. Looking back. In January last year, I introduced my new team of doulas for Waco Doula, and that was a blast. It has been a very successful year. I am enjoying Rachel Fisher, Christine McElroy, Lauren Reynolds as part of my team, and they are doing a fabulous job in taking care of our clients. So that's how we hit the ground running in January. Also, within my business, I've been focused more on my podcast. I think we're over 70 episodes at this point, and it has been a real treat, as I said earlier, interviewing different people, talking about the topics that people want to hear about, childbirth, of course, new babies, postpartum, but then now expanding the conversations to include more about our lives after babies and relationships and multiple children, adult children, careers with our family, so these are all things that are important to all of us. And quite honestly, it affects every part of my life. I'm assuming it affects every part of your life. So this has been a great tool for me, but then also for my listeners. So I appreciate you guys listening. So that's been one thing. We also, I was featured on the Wacoan, the People of the 254. That was a lot of fun to do that interview, and did a huge event with Waco Moms called Bloom, and that was, man, it was great. Waco Moms has the same focus that we do at Waco Doula, which is we're wanting to support young moms, and we support young moms obviously in their childbirth journey. And then Waco Moms takes it a step further. How can we connect these young Waco moms to the community, to others? What is it that they need? What are they looking for? How can we point them in the right direction? How can we make them feel at home? And so doing an event with them this year was a lot of fun and great for both of our businesses. And then we were also featured. We have the Wacoan magazine here has a particular issue called The Best of Waco, and birthing specialists. We were at the top, which is amazing. Love being there. Love serving our community, and we hope to continue to do that in the coming year. Let's see. I became a strawberry blonde this year. So I tried for the first time the balayage treatment, and it's been great because I'm getting gray hair and the texture of my hair is changing. And so this has been a great transition for me because I'm not ready to be full gray. So the strawberry blonde has been less harsh. So thank you, Lindsay Clark at Salons by JC. Appreciate you guys. It's been so much fun. I've gotten a lot of compliments. This year, I've had to adjust to a life of more single parenting. My husband has become an insurance adjuster over the past year and a half, and I think he was gone about 7 months out of this year of 2022, and I'm not going to lie, guys, it was hard. Took on more responsibilities. He's really, really good at practical things. I hate going grocery shopping. Hate it. He loves it. Guess who went grocery shopping? This gal right here. And every time I had to go, I would text him or call him and say, guess what I'm having to do? And he'd laugh. You're probably going grocery shopping. Because I go down the aisles, even with a list. I have a list. I'm reading my list. And I go down the aisles, and lo and behold, I'm 5 aisles deep and I already forgot something back on aisle 1. So I go back. I go back several times. I have 4 things to buy, and somehow I'm there for an hour. I don't get it. It makes me mad. I've done more of the curbside pickup. Thank you, our local HEB. Done more of the curbside pickup, but then that means I have to be proactive and think about everything I need a day in advance. I don't think like that. And then that means I got to get on the dadgum computer, on the app, and go and choose everything. And that feels just as hard to me. So I don't know if it's better or not. So that's just one example of one little thing that I'm doing. Obviously, carting kids back and forth, although I do have a new driver this year. Naomi turned 17, got her driver's permit, got her license. That's been a blessing for her to be driving. She's a senior this year. So that's been great. I've enjoyed that. But yes, just adjusting to him being gone. And a huge shout out to my parents, Keith and Millie Rollins, for all the many different ways they've helped me this year. And my two older sons who live here in Waco. Isaac was here earlier in the year. He is now in the fall, started going to the University of Arkansas. So that's been an adventure, him not being around and him starting that college career. Got a lot of his basics done at our local community college here in McLennan County. And then Jacob moved back about a year ago to Waco, and he has helped a ton. So I'm not by myself, guys. I have a lot of support, and that's a big important thing for me when I talk to people is, it is part of what I do as a doula, right? Supporting these young moms, but it doesn't matter if you are still in the childbearing years or not. You need support in your life, and I don't think we're designed to do this life by ourselves, any aspects of it. So if you don't have support in your life, our motto is get the support that you need, and I think that applies to everything. So I have that support, and I'm very thankful for that. I started kind of a more conscientious journey for my health. 51 years old, I need to be more conscious of it, and implemented some things. Implemented this app called Noom, just being more conscious of. I kind of got into this habit of just blindly eating, not thinking about what I was doing in my activities, slowed down on, moving or being outside and getting that great vitamin D. My digestive system's been important to me because every health person I know talks about it. So I'm like, okay, I got to focus on this. And I've learned some valuable things from some really great friends and fitness experts here in our local area. Susan Bell is a great friend of mine who now has this amazing business online where she does her classes online. And man, people are getting so much out of it. She's reaching way more people. But one of the main things I learned from her is that you got to do what you enjoy, meaning exercise specifically. And I love to dance. And so that is something that I'm looking for. And so she moved to Austin. So I don't get to dance with her like I used to. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 times a week, and I loved it. So, finding that thing that you really enjoy. It might be jogging. It might be hiking. It might be whatever. I'm not going to list all the things. Y'all know what they are. But do something you enjoy because it has to be sustainable, which I learned from my friend Nikki Wilson. And she's been actually on the show. And go check that episode out. It's called Take It Off, because we're talking about mindset and body image. And what I learned from her is that you can't make 50 changes. What are the 1 or 2 things that you need to focus on? And the changes that you make, are they sustainable? Can you carry throughout the year and the rest of your life that change? Because if you can't, don't even bother, because you're going to go right back to what you were doing. So appreciate that from them. And so that journey has actually, I started back in June. I have actually lost 22 pounds. That was over the course of those 6 months. It wasn't quick, but it was steady. And you guys, that's really the way to go. If you want to know more about my journey, I mean, my point is not, hey, I've got this great weight loss program, because I don't. Like I said, I implemented several different things and just kind of stuck with it. Being consistent. That's what everybody's going to tell you is kind of the name of the game. So that's been encouraging to me to see that my choices are really helping. These consistent small choices are helping. And also, I have been pain-free for probably 2 years or more. I used to have horrible back pain, and shout out to Landmark Chiropractic Care, Dr. Andrew, thank you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that I'm doing. I mean, that chronic pain will keep you from living a life that you want to be living. So it's important, y'all. Your health is important. And it's the start of a new year, right? So this is when everybody's thinking about it. So I'm just going to tell you, consistency and sustainability is huge. Whatever it is that you're thinking about, whatever it is that you want to do. So when I look back on that, I see it as a very positive thing. Also, the depriving yourself mindset doesn't work. That's another thing that Nikki talks about. If you are depriving yourself constantly, you cannot sustain that for very long. That's a horrible mindset to have, and it's just constantly denying yourself of things. So don't do that. That doesn't work. That one's for free. Little gold nugget right there. Let's see. What else? We finally got our family photos done after about, I don't know, I think Levi was a baby. Seriously, the last time we had family photos done. So shout out to Julie Erzen. She is a client of mine, a repeat client. 4 times she's hired Waco Doula. And JME Photography. And you'll see our photos all over my Instagram page and Facebook page. She did a fantastic job because there were, 10 of us. Anyway, I loved it. It was so much fun. So I'm so glad we got to do that. Let's see. What is this that I'm reading? Oh, my youngest, Levi, is 14. He's now taller than me. So I'm the shortest person in my family, which is fun. And I'm 5'8". I am not a short person. So people are always surprised to hear that. Surprised to hear that I'm a grandma. Got a new grandbaby coming in March. Got to attend several weddings. And one of the highlights of the year for me was going to my niece's wedding, Lauren the Writer. Is that the name of her Instagram? I think it is. Lauren the Writer. I think that's right. And anyway, she got married in Turkey. Y'all, I got to go to Turkey for a week. And there are also pictures and posts on there about that. And it was kind of life-changing, honestly. It's beautiful. And I got to meet so many amazing people. And being in another country, another culture, it's a great opportunity to get a good perspective, and being with family kind of rekindled my relationship with Lauren again. Got to see her again over the holidays as she was in town. So, taking a new adventure and running with it and really diving into it, giving yourself to the adventure, being very present. I did that. I loved it. It was great. Like I said, several other weddings, but I also had some very close friends that passed away this year that were, my age, maybe a little bit older. One died of cancer, one died of lung disease, and that's hard, y'all. That's sad. And my husband and I have been unchurched for several years, and we were, checking out new churches in our area when COVID hit, and then that just kind of stopped everything, as it did for most people. But we have started attending a church a little bit more regularly. But with Michael being out of town, hadn't really wanted to commit or jump in. And so it's been helpful to be attending somewhere every Sunday, and looking forward to what the future holds with that. So that's also something that has been encouraging this past year. So my husband, I started a book called Atomic Habits. And didn't realize how behind the 8 ball I was on that, because everybody I talked to was like, oh yeah, that's a great book. So it's apparently been around a while. So I started that. I actually have posted a few things about it. Holidays hit, kind of got off a little bit of the rhythm of reading it, but that is something I want to continue, and it's been extremely helpful for me. And I'm looking forward to learning more about these small, consistent habits that I was already doing, and I didn't realize it with the health part. So there are other areas of my life that I really want to apply that. And finally, my husband came home for the holidays. Our plan is for him to be home for the spring. I'll talk a little bit more about that in my next episode, looking at 2023. But my husband and I just celebrated 30 years of marriage. And I am really proud of that. I am very blessed to have a man that loves me, to have a man that is my rock. He is stable. We complement each other. We enjoy each other's differences. That was not always true. And I would like for people to know more about the journey of a marriage that hopefully can last. And I do not have all the answers, but that is something that we are expanding in the podcast, is I do want to talk more about marriage now that you have kids and family and career. And I've highlighted a little bit of that in 2022, and I'm looking forward to talking a little bit more about that. So jump in to this activity that I just did for myself. It doesn't have to be super detailed, but just kind of overlooking, and it really can help you propel into the coming year, which is what I'm about to do on the next episode. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for listening to My Doula Micha. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at My Doula Micha. We can also get connected at mydoulamicah.com. If you're interested in checking out my book, the link to The Humor in Birth, Stories and Insights from a Doula can be found on all of these social platforms. Be sure to share and subscribe. I'll be here next week, so please be sure to join me again. And this podcast was produced by Rogue Media Network.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.